All right, so we all know telemedicine is exploding, right? But behind all that hype, there are some very specific, kind of repeatable formulas for success. And today, we're not just going to look at who won, we're going to deconstruct how they won. We're breaking down three absolute giants in the space. So let's get into it.
So that really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, with everyone jumping into digital health, what actually separates the massive winners from, well, everyone else? Because let's be real, it's not just about having a cool app, it's about having a killer strategy. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about here, check out this number: 20 million users. And get this, that's the user base for just one of the companies we're looking at today, Indonesia's Halodoc. Just one. So yeah, the stakes in this industry are absolutely massive, and the rewards for getting it right, they're enormous.
Okay, so first up, we're heading to Indonesia to look at a company called Halodoc. Now, these guys aren't just a player in their market. You could argue they pretty much are the market. And their winning formula? It was all about building an entire ecosystem from the ground up. So Halodoc's big idea was to become the one-stop shop for everything health-related. I mean, everything. We're not just talking about a quick video call with your doctor. We're talking about the whole journey, from that first consultation, to getting your prescription delivered right to your door, to even having lab tests done at home. So you gotta ask, how on earth did they pull that off? Well, it was a really powerful mix of things. For sure, their timing was perfect. The pandemic definitely gave them a boost, but that was more like pouring gasoline on a fire that was already burning. The real engine was their all-in-one integrated platform. But the absolute masterstroke, the real game changer, it was their integration with something called BPJS. So, what exactly is this BPJS thing? Well, think of it as the Indonesian government's national health insurance program. It's huge. And by partnering with them, Halodoc pulled off an incredible move. They didn't have to go out and convince millions of people one by one to sign up. Nope, they just tapped directly into this massive, already existing population. It was like finding a secret shortcut to scale that nobody else had. Okay, now let's do a complete 180. We're shifting gears and heading over to the US market to look at a company that took a totally different path, Teladoc. These guys are the pioneers of the B2B, that's business-to-business, model. You see, if Halodoc's game was all about owning the entire patient experience, Teladoc's was about owning the relationships with the big organizations that actually pay for healthcare. Their customer wasn't you or me directly. It was our insurance company or maybe our employer. So their whole playbook was basically built around enterprise sales. They went out and made deals with the huge insurance companies and big employers, and just like that, their service became a standard benefit for millions of employees all at once. But to land those huge deals, they had to prove their value, and they did it with a really clever type of contract. And this is how they built so much trust with those massive clients. Instead of just charging a fee for every doctor visit, they basically said, look, pay us based on the results we get. If they could prove they were making employees healthier and, saving the company money in the long run, then they got paid. It's a super powerful way to show you're on the same team and that your service actually works. All right, for our third and final model, we're looking at something different yet again. Let's talk about Row. These guys absolutely perfected the start small, win big strategy. They are, without a doubt, the masters of the niche. Row's whole approach was basically the polar opposite of Teladoc's. They went straight to the consumer, what we call D2C. But, and this is the important part, they didn't try to be everything to everyone. Not at all. They started by zeroing in on very specific and often kind of sensitive or underserved health conditions to build a super loyal customer base. And their formula was just so simple, but honestly brilliant. They started with this laser focus on niches. Think things like erectile dysfunction or birth control. And what did that do? It let them totally perfect their business model, from marketing all the way to delivery, but on a much smaller, more manageable scale. They figured out how to actually make money on each customer. And only after they had that formula down pat did they start expanding into other areas. It's a classic case of dominating a small pond before trying to conquer the ocean. Okay, so let's recap. We've just looked at three wildly different companies that all achieved incredible success, right? We have the ecosystem builder, the B2B pioneer, and the niche specialist. Now, let's put it all together, connect the dots, and see what these different playbooks look like when you put them side by side. And when you lay it all out like this, the contrast is just wow. It's stark. You've got Halodoc building this massive integrated ecosystem for an entire country. Then there's Teladoc, focusing entirely on B2B partnerships. And finally, Ro, going straight to individuals with very specific needs. So you see, 3 totally different business models, 3 different target markets, and 3 completely unique ways to scale. Let's just zoom in on that B2B versus D2C difference for a second, because it's really important. You've got Teladoc playing the long game, right? They're chasing those huge, high-volume contracts that can take forever to close. Then you have Ro playing the fast game, snagging individual customers really quickly. The profit margin on each customer is higher, but the initial volume is lower. It's a classic fundamental trade-off in business strategy. So I think the biggest takeaway from all of this is that there's no single right way to win in telemedicine. It's not one size fits all. We've seen 3 distinct and proven formulas. You can be the ecosystem builder, like Halodoc, and make yourself indispensable. You can be the B2B pioneer, like Teladoc, and piggyback on existing giants. Or you can be the niche specialist, like Ro, dominate a small space, and then expand from there. And all of this really leaves us with one final big question. As digital health keeps changing and growing, which one of these models do you think will define the future? Is it going to be the all-in-one platform, the massive B2B giant, or the specialized consumer brand? Honestly, that is the billion-dollar question. Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.